This is how you can master Ashe in Season 11, and I know this is late and there are a ton of Ashe guides out there, but I wanted to make sure I got a bunch of time playing her before I made a guide rather than trying to get a guide out as soon as possible so I can gather as many useful tips I can for her. And in this video, I want to keep it short and not discuss her abilities, but just give the best tips I can to master each ability or interesting ways to use them. To start off with her passive, Marked for Death is the most overpowered and useful passive in the game out of all the legends by far, and actually has two uses to it. Unlike some other legends that have absolutely pointless passives, like Wraith and Pathfinder especially, and this one is pretty straightforward, but the best way to utilize this passive for your team is whenever you're running around the map or rotating, especially early game, is to open up your map, multitask, and start looking for death boxes nearby, and pinging them whether or not you are going to that fight or not, or it is already finished. Just ping it to give your teammates that information rather than keeping it to yourself. And remember that death boxes don't stay forever, they disappear after 180 seconds on the map, so just because you can't see recent death boxes doesn't mean there are none there. Another useful thing is to find death boxes for teammates that just got rezzed so that they can get loot off of it. And being able to see when the person died and where especially will help while you're on your way to third party to make sure that you get there at the right time before the fight is finished and the other team can be ready for you to pull up. Just knowing how many people on a team died to know how many could be left fighting or know where the fight could be moving is some of the most useful information. And then there is the ability to scan death boxes to reveal attackers. Now this is something you should not use very often because the ping is static and will become useless within a second, and whoever is pinged will know exactly where you are at or be aware that you are following behind them. Now for tactical, Arc Snare. Not a great tactical, but can be very useful in very certain situations. It's very slow moving, so it needs to be used at close range, or it's just a waste. And you do not need to attach it to a surface first. If it is flying through the air, as soon as it comes within a certain radius of an enemy player, it will tether them no matter what. It takes 25 seconds to charge and get another use, so this is not something you want to be spamming. The most useful way to use this offensively is only after you have dealt a good amount of damage to the enemy, so you can ensure you finish them off. People still have a lot of room to move around, so if you start off by snaring them, then you are basically just forcing a 50-50, which is not what you want to do. This ability is best used defensively. If you need to back up and heal, you can place it in a doorway, and no sane player will push into that unless they are confident you are one shot. And even if they do get tethered, it'll give you a little extra time to heal and escape. And finally, her ultimate, Phase Breach, which I like to say it's like Wraith's Portal mixed with Lobus Tactical, being able to choose a destination and then portal there. This ult takes 2 minutes to charge up, so it can be used multiple times per game. Now what I would say not long after I started using Ashe a while ago is to mainly use her ult to get away from a team, much like Wraith's Tactical, to get in the middle of a team, do as much damage as you can or possibly a knock, and use it to get out of there or to just get out of bad situations in general. But what I found from playing her so much is that if you are weak at all and portal out, people will just full send you to finish you off. Now something you can do to catch people off guard is to back up as soon as you come out of your portal to shoot, and maybe even throw your tactical down at the exit of the portal. But this can only be done if you put your portal in a very specific spot to where you aren't going to get beamed in the back by their teammates that did not take the portal, which this alone is a huge weakness that I noticed pretty often using Ashe and playing against Ashes, is that you can see where Ashe places her portal even before she goes through it. So you can pre-aim and even pre-fire the exit as soon as they come out for free damage, or to get that last bullet off to finish them. Or if your awareness is good enough to catch an Ashe trying to port somewhere behind you, somewhere say on a rooftop, you can get some beams on them and whoever comes through to stop them from trying to push and flank you before it even starts. So I recommend just stick to using it as a means to get high ground or to get advantageous positions to either fight a team or third party fights, or to even get to a third party quicker before the team can finish their fight. Also, the vertical distance is much greater than the horizontal distance, so use that to your advantage to get up to very high places that normally any other legend is unable to get to, even Valkyrie. So now that you know all the tips and tricks for Ashe in Season 11, click this video right here to know how to properly aim train for Apex Legends.